racing immediately. But a champion becomes a legend. Maccabi Diva wins it again.
Yes, yes, yes. Wins the Everest. Glenn Boss wins another big one.
Who's the Boss? Season 3, season finale. It's gone so quick because we've been having so much fun, and the Autumn Racing Carnival has been sensational. We've had some fantastic guests with us. Adam Peacock alongside Glenn Boss. Before we get to today's guest, we've got that empty seat there. Who's it going to be? And how are you?
Mate, Adam, I couldn't be better. Had a great week. Hunter Valley.
Yeah.
Went into one of the Red Bull planes.
No
Got
way.
a few G's going.
Yeah?
Went to some wineries. Had an absolute great week.
Did the vino that you were sipping, and ever so nicely, probably swilling in the Hunter Valley, stay inside you when you went on the plane and everything?
I played a very straight bat. It was an early morning flight.
Yeah, okay.
So no breakfast that morning. I thought, well, I'm going to get prepared for this in case I have an up and under. You don't want to be doing that in his plane. And I copped that really good. I couldn't believe it, pulling 5 Gs. And you're not actually in the G very long, Adam.
Yep.
So you're in and out very quickly. And just being upside down and feeling weightlessness, I had an absolute ball.
You love adrenaline. Like I'm guessing because you rode horses for a very long time that adrenal hit you can't quite get very often comparably, but this would have been along those lines.
Yeah, it was. My pilot was a 3-time Australian champion, and he's competed around the world, so he was very good.
Well, it's good to know that the pilot knew what he was doing.
Yeah, correct. And but yeah, just that thrill, of being kind of on the edge a little bit. I really, that's my place. Yeah, I asked him if he could go really push me a bit because I wanted to go past 5G because he said, "Oh, you're handling this really well," and I was just yahooing and having a ball. And I said, we'll go a bit further? And he said, no, we won't do that, not today.
Because that would have been over, 500 k's an hour, 400 k's an hour or something like that? Or?
I think when they're doing the loops, they're getting about 350k when they hit the bottom and then they start going up again.
But on a horse is about 70 k's an hour you max out at?
Oh, a good one will do 70k, yeah.
Ooh, what's that feel like?
I'd rather ride a fast horse.
You win these things.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it funny? This week I had a real mad thought, actually, Adam. I had a very pivotal moment this week. I thought I could go back riding.
No.
It lasted about 2 seconds, but I had a feeling
But it was there, though.
After doing this, I thought I've missed that thrill. I missed that. But no, that lasted 2 seconds, that moment.
Yeah, so you miss the moments, the big moments, the crowds, the good horses. What don't you miss? Is the list pretty long?
Yeah, the
It's
list
long enough to keep you out of the game.
The pros and cons. It's way out of kilter, because oh my God, it'd take me 3 months to actually get race fit.
Yeah.
Before I even rode in a race, and then it'd take me another 3 weeks to actually get real race fit.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 3 or 4 months, and I'm 55 now. Like, nah.
Congratulations on the comeback though, but shame it had to end so quickly.
Yeah, 2 seconds. It was good. It was a good time though. Good thought.
Now, before we get to today's guest, and we're going to review last week at Randwick because
Yep.
sensational days racing. AirTouch, got to give AirTouch a shout out.
Absolutely.
AirTouch.net.au, big supporters of Who's the Boss. Really appreciate their support all through this season once again. And Bossy, it's on your phone right there.
Yes,
you
it's
can
on the
control your
phone.
temperature in your house
Yep.
wherever you go.
Yeah, and we're getting into winter soon, so reverse it. Like you can be out and about, and you want to get back to a nice, comfortable home, and you can just do it wherever you are. Like I could sit here now, like in Sydney, and control my house on the Goldie. It's that easy.
How good.
Yeah, anywhere around the world.
How good. And you're about to move house as well, so I'm guessing that it doesn't matter. You just move to the next place and easy as.
Take it with you. Simple.
How good. AirTouch.net.au. Check them out for all your air conditioning needs when you're around on the move as well. And on socials, at Who's the Boss Pod. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. You can go and review. Go and do a performance review, and you do that for Ladbroke sometimes there, Bossy, but you can do a performance review of Bossy's tips throughout the carnival. You got some good ones. You get outliers. I remember Vauban, you got it nearly 10-1. That was a good tip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a punter, right? So I just kind of analyse things on visual. I'm not a real stats person. I never have been. So if I see something visually line up in a certain races going on to the next one, that's what I'll gravitate towards. So it's not an exact science at all. Racing, betting, punting is far from exact science. So everyone has their own ways of meanings and their own ways to sort of find a winner, but that's how I do it.
Last week, Randwick, before we get to our special guest, Via Sistina.
Yeah.
She did it again, the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. are we approaching Winks levels, or are we certainly the best since Winks? And how far can she go? It looks like she's going to be aimed at another Cox Plate.
Yeah. Listen, you can never compare her to Winks. It's a different animal, but she's the best we've seen since. Another mare. Look at that. And geez, I hope they keep her going for another Cox Plate, because I think on current form, she'd start even money favourite. Like 7 lengths romp last year. So she's shown that she loves the valley, and weight for age, she's nearly unbeatable, to be very honest. In Australia, she's unbeatable. So I'd love to see her back up and win another Cox Plate.
We were discussing it just before we came on about the handful of great horses that we've seen in the last 20 years or so. They've all been females. So it's Winks.
Yep.
It's Black Caviar, Makybe. And now via Sistina.
Yeah.
Is there a trend, a reason that you can see perhaps why this is happening?
Yeah, especially in the last 15 years, 10 years. There's a bit of a science behind it, and what happens if you've got a very good colt? They very rarely go past 4-year-old.
Well, look at Switzerland this week.
That's right. They're too valuable.
Retired.
Right? They're way too valuable at stud. A good colt is going to get a service fee, command a service fee of a minimum of $100,000 per service, and he's going to serve 150 mares. Do the sums. He's far expensive. He's far too valuable to be on a racetrack. So he's retired early. So then you got left with this pool of geldings who have no testosterone running in their body because it's being taken away from them as an early age, because they weren't going to be good colts. So then you got the pool of fillies and mares who grow up and get stronger because they've got natural testosterone and still run around in their body. So when you look at collectively the great mares that we're calling, let's call them champions.
Yeah.
There's 4 or 5 of them that are champions. They're bigger, faster, stronger than the geldings, and they get 2 kilos weight relief off the geldings.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't make sense. The weight for age scale kind of, for mine, doesn't make sense anymore, because back in the day, the geldings could be supplemented with a steroid, whether it be an oil-based steroid or a water-based steroid. So they were replacing what they were taken away from them for race day, racing purposes. Now, that was perceived to be performance enhancing. So in the last 15, I think, maybe 20 years, the geldings don't have that.
Yeah. So the very good mares have that advantage, and I don't know, we might see that geldings might gather together and start protesting against the weight scale or something.
They might, but the thing is, the mares have just, like I said, they've got that testosterone running a bit, so they recover better, and mares typically will be stronger because they'll run through pain barriers.
Yeah.
They're actually physically more armed to deal with pain.
Can you feel a horse run through the pain barrier?
Oh, when you ride and work through the week, you'll feel some of them have aches and pains.
Yeah.
Come race day, they have no aches and pains because their adrenaline kicks in and they become an athlete,
Yeah.
Because they go into the cauldron, so their heart rate race comes up, their adrenaline starts kicking in.
There was a great bit of vision last week, sorry, Bossy, of via Sistina being led around by the barrier attendant. And they had the camera and the sound from the barrier attendant as he was walking around and put her in the barrier. And you could actually hear her as she goes into the barrier, and and the ears go right up. She didn't want to be touched on the head, and noises start getting made that weren't coming out before when she was parading and things like that. It's like, this intensity rises in their bodies.
I'd love to see a racehorse, like, how they have the heart monitors on athletes. I'd love to see one put on a racehorse, like in the enclosure, going to the barriers. You'd see in the enclosure their heart rate would be up.
Yep.
Then when they got on the racetrack, their heart rate would probably drop down a bit because they're out there and they're doing their thing, they're getting a warm up. Then behind the barriers, you'd see their heart rate start to elevate as they get grabbed, and then start walking the barriers, and you'd see their heart rate start raising again. That'd be a really interesting thing to put on a racehorse, and then just to see where their levels of anxiety and their consciousness of where what they're doing where it would be.
Fascinating stuff, mate.
Yeah, it is. It is fascinating because it's they're an athlete at the end of the day, like a human being. They're treated like that, and that's what they are.
Speaking of athletes, we've got an athlete about to join us right here on Who's the Boss. Now, this is a guy that we talk of athletically excellent, cardiovascular, big set of lungs.
Yes.
Big set of everything now.
Yep.
Our guest, Nathan Hindmarsh.
A lot of hair and He's made a career of basically taking the piss out of himself and a lot of people around him, and he's got it down to he's now a gold medalist, isn't he? If there was an Olympic sport for being a dickhead and taking the piss out of yourself, this bloke would win every 4 years.
Well, he's going to do it to us, I dare say.
I got no idea.
Let's get into it. Our special guest this week, Nathan Hindmarsh. So special guest.
We started good.
We're 10 minutes into this thing.
Special guest, Nathan Hindmarsh on Who's the Boss. How are you, Hindy?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Looking good.
No, you're just saying
What are you
that.
up to at the moment? Apart from this,
Doing a few podcasts.
tennis,
Yeah.
soccer. Am I allowed to call it soccer in here? Or is it
About
have to be
15
does it have to be
jobs.
football?
Bit of rugby league.
Rugby league.
Bit of cricket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Family.
Just
I'm almost as busy as him. Oh, I
fingers and
occasionally
pies.
see the kids.
You're a pie man.
Exactly.
Gets up at 2 a.m. every morning to watch the Premier League. Can you believe that?
What a waste of time.
Oh, Jesus.
Whole world can't be wrong, Nathan.
Well, the whole world is.
Hey, this is your world right now
Is
on Who's
it?
the Boss, and we're going to christen the episode as we always do.
Yeah.
And that, like, my eyes are gone, but you can have 03 this time, Bossy.
All right.
The 3 Melbourne Cups. Tradition continues here. He's got them cleaned. He's got them
Is this-
washed and everything like
Is this
that.
a rub in though? Like, because is that your grand final? Is the Melbourne Cup your grand final?
with the rubbing, mate.
Hindy?
This has nothing to do with it.
What do I get?
You get 05. You get the.
Who are you on in 05?
Do you pay any
you
attention
back
to
that
anything that goes on in life? Mackay Diva, 3 in a row.
No, it's Heine's life world.
Hey,
because we just live in it.
It's in one ear, out the other for me. I've got no idea.
I know trophies aren't your thing, but we'll get to that.
I'm only man of the matches.
Have you ever done this before?
No, I haven't.
You've never
I'm
done
scared. I feel like I should have gloves on or something. I always see people with
No,
gloves.
no.
Or is that just
These
you?
are Glenn's. Can you pass this over, Nathan?
Mate,
Thank
no,
you.
we don't have clubs.
Yeah.
That's for pansies.
Cheers
Cheers, gang.
to 3 Melbourne
Cheers,
Cups
boys.
See, look at that.
and our last episode for this season of
Oh, is it
Who's
the
the
last
Boss
episode?
This is it.
of
Yeah,
this
yeah.
episode.
We
we're
haven't
back
been
again.
rating that well, so this will
love
be
it.
the last one.
I love a bit of champers. You know who put me on the champagne?
Cheers, mate.
Steve Menzies.
Oh,
Because we do a lot of we used to do a lot of functions together,
Beaver, eh?
and he'd say a couple of champagnes just to get you in the mood, and it works.
He'd probably
Okay.
get
You
there
whack
and
a few into you quickly, and
Start-
you none of that. Just woof
Start
it
talking
down.
about the financials. How's your financial situation and
We had him on.
building
Yeah.
wealth?
He's still trying to get all my bank loans. Yeah, he wants to get me
fair.
over.
It's fair. How's life,
good's that?
Hindy? In general.
Life can't complain.
Yeah?
Everyone's fit and healthy, and wake up in the morning. So I'm not whinging. No.
Life on the farm.
Jeez, you
I
get
don't
into
think
that
I've ever-
champagne.
Are we not drinking it? Was
Yeah,
that
no, we
just
drink
a-
it.
You
No,
can
we
drink
drink
it.
it.
You're
Get a
just
whole bottle here.
reefing it down.
It's delicious. What is it, mum or mum? How do you say that?
Mum.
Mum. Is it mum? Is it?
Mum.
Just
Yeah.
a bottle of mum, thanks.
How's life on the farm, mate?
It's not. It's getting started. I've just changed farms. So when you call it a farm, boss, it's 60 acres.
Yeah, but that's nice.
It is nice.
Manageable.
It's manageable. Yes. So just working through getting some fences. Just got water on there. Then I'll shift my cows from my last place,
Yeah.
which the new owners of my last place they've been very good. They've let my cows stay on their farm for a
How
while.
good are the
so
cows?
How many
They're good.
cows?
Too many. Too many.
Can never have too many cows.
Because my wife believes nothing should be slaughtered. So she shouldn't really go into selling cows because
No,
nothing gets sold.
no.
a problem.
Just accumulate.
Well, that's what's happening because I'm in I'm trying to get into the mini Highland game, miniature Highland cattle game. I've got mid-size, got a couple of minis, but then my bulls kept getting out. So it's just at the moment, it's just a free for all of.
What about those?
it's
how
a
much
cow
attitude they've got so much attitude. They're like dogs. They're like big dogs. these things.
They can be. Yeah, I've got a little Galloway. She's like a dog, but I've got this psycho girl, big horn thing. She's a bush
Yeah.
pig. If she calves, you can't go near her.
Oh.
Well, you can't go near the calves. She
Yeah.
has a crack at you. So
Okay.
Yeah.
What a
Stay away
wonderful way
from
to
she'll be
that.
start.
gone. But
Donkeys.
but see, my wife has a thing. So she'll go down there. 1, 2, 3. She counts them all the time.
To make sure you haven't,
Yeah, so I haven't
made some
thrown a few on a
hamburgers.
truck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
So
dear.
that's the plan. I've got to try and slowly.
So before
rid
you
of some.
became a rugby league legend, you grew up on a farm. What was the big life lessons that you learnt growing up on a property with your family?
Yeah, I grew up on a dairy farm. Just watching how my granddad and dad worked, I suppose. How they had to do it every day. There was no they didn't really have any helpers. It was just those two. My brother got into it obviously after, and he's still a dairy farmer out at Cowra now.
That's Ian.
He packed up my brother Ian, who played a bit of NRL. Not as good as me. Hope he's listening.
Yeah.
But no, he packed up at the family farm pretty much, and Dad kind of lost his way with it all, got over it, and he's moved everything out to Cowra. So he's got his family farm out at Cowra.
Yeah.
And Mum's on 200 acres still in Robertson, where the original farm was.
Wow.
Which has kind of shrunk over the years. Was about 400 or 500 acres, now it's down to 2.
And that was it's in the Southern Highlands.
In the beautiful Southern Highlands,
Clean
mate, where I
air
grew
and-
up. Yeah,
yep.
but learning to live on a farm. I wasn't into farming. I think a lot of people know that. I preferred to ride motorbikes and do other things and have friends. So
that's it.
Yeah, my brother had no friends, still doesn't.
No.
But yeah, I rode motorbikes. I helped out when I had to. Like, I didn't like milking cows because you get my dad, my granddad, and my brother in the milking pit together.
Yeah.
It's a
Bedlam.
It's you take
We grew up the same.
take your bulletproof vest. Yeah, because Dad has a few beers while he milks.
In the morning. Or
No,
not the morning session. Not the
I
morning
wouldn't put it
session.
past him. Wouldn't put it past him. But no, he used to have a few. So he'd finish washing out the vats, the milk vats, and then he'd go to the pub for his counter lunch. So he'd have a few there, and then he'd just continue
Come
all the
back.
way through to
The afternoon
milking,
session.
and then he was fired up, ready to go.
How good.
And then my brother's got a short fuse. So you can imagine those two together in the. Oh God, it was scary.
wanna
So
be
I
a-
would feed the calves. I'd be out of the milking area, feed the calves. I'd slash paddocks.
Yeah.
I'd do all that sort of stuff.
Stay away.
So you grew up on a farm as well?
Oh, you were farmers, yeah.
Yeah.
Dairy and mixed cattle, mixed farming, yeah. So same thing. You're up at 4 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't get milked by themselves, or the
That's-
animals
yeah,
don't
that's
get
it. They
fed.
don't milk themselves,
So
that's
everything
it.
had to be done before everyone had to have breakfast. All the animals before adults had, all the people had breakfast. That's the way it was.
Yeah, I didn't like getting up at the 4. I'd do it every now and then. There's photos of us all as kids down there, just standing there in the middle of winter, just coated up and freezing our tits off. Yeah.
So to both of you, do you reckon that enhanced your need to become professional athletes or go down that path to, not make that your life, getting up at 4 o'clock
Just get off the
every
farm.
morning, get off the
As quick
farm?
as you could. No. What it did teach you, like your peers, work. That's
Yeah.
all you did. You work. If you didn't work, you got your ass kicked. You're like, Mum, give you your touch up. So you learnt to work hard.
Yeah, you had to work, but I think it was more the lifestyle. Having that good, it was because it was a great lifestyle. As much as it was about hard work, but having that open space, you could do what you want. You learned how to drive cars early. You had motorbikes.
Yeah.
You learned how to shoot guns early and be responsible with it. All that sort of stuff you did, and then by the time you're 18, 19, that's all out of your system. So you just. But I loved bringing my kids back to the farm. Like, I loved it when they were little, showing them how to milk cows, all that sort of stuff. Take them out to my brother's place when they were little, just to show them it's a different life. You got to work hard, and it's most of the time it's up to Mother Nature to decide what's going to happen. Because whether it's drought, fires, floods, so they've got to deal with all that sort of stuff. Price of grain, hay, all that. So it never ends there. But it's just it was just a great environment to grow up in, and I'm glad I got to do it for 18 years, and then I moved to the city. So I've got the best of both worlds. I know what to do down there, and I enjoy coming back here. So all the other way around.
Never crossed over.
It's when I first started at Parramatta, I'd go down to Robbo on a weekend. So we played on a Friday night. This was when I was first started, 18, 19. And I'd get on the drink with my mates who were still all down there. So that'd be a Saturday, Sunday session. And to try and get me out of Robbo on a Monday morning to go back to training was hard work. I hated coming back to Sydney. Hated it.
Yeah.
To a point where I was ready to just go, nah, I'm not coming back.
Really? You nearly did that?
I nearly did that. It was once I said to my mum, I'm not going back. And this was when it was a pre-season training when I first moved to Sydney. And she kicked my ass and said, you get your ass back to Sydney. I went, oh, righto, Mum. Yeah.
But you showed talent. But you showed talent like from the get go.
I don't know if I showed. No, I never played any junior reps or anything. I played estuary ball for Parramatta. That was my first junior reps, but nothing for. I played Group 6 once because there was a few kids that were 6, so they brought me into the side, but never any schoolboy stuff or New South Wales stuff.
Not traditional.
No. Just enjoyed playing footy.
Yeah.
Just loved playing footy. Loved trying to hurt people.
Yeah,
that kind of went out when I started playing first grade because I couldn't hurt anyone. But I did hurt some kids when I was growing up because I was a little bit on the heavy side, heavy boned.
Yeah.
So I had that advantage over a few of them.
But Beaver said he just used to love when he hit them. Like, he loved to hear that air compressed out of their body when he hit them hard. He'd like to hear that. Like
That technique.
like the technique he had.
Well,
like,
he did have a great technique, Beaver.
Yeah, but-
he was the one you'd always watch out because he was a bit like Jake Travojevic, where he could get underneath you, under your and give you a good whack. So you always made sure you a little bit of late footwork on Beaver, so he didn't get you square on, front on.
Yeah.
Because he could hit. He didn't do it often because he probably had the cleanest jersey ever to come off a football field. Yeah.
Good on you, Beaver.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was a bit of a cat, Beaver. Like, he knows it.
Yeah,
we all
yeah,
know it.
yeah.
Yeah. Good bloke though. Top bloke.
He hid amongst his teammates.
He did very well. Like he was a prolific try scorer. We all know
Yes,
that. But
yeah.
that doesn't make you a good player. No. Got to be a mixed bag of.
What? So you felt like that you walked off a.
I walked off the field knowing
footy
that I
field.
played the game.
You're a man's
Yeah,
man.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that right?
You'd broke a few bodies that
Yeah,
day.
I'd go off and have a beer. Beaver would come off and have a champagne. So that's pretty much
Well, you're
it.
celebrating
Talk
a
about-
premiership.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, what gave you the longevity to play as long as you did? Because over 300 games, like you,
Yep.
like a
lot of-
mainstay of Parramatta.
tackling machine.
Just a lot of luck. It is a lot of luck because a lot of them miss out through injury or, some of them career-ending injuries. So I was lucky I didn't have too many injuries that would keep me out for a long period of time. I think one of my worst ones was I did, was it ligaments? Yeah. I was going to say syndesmosis, but I don't know what that is.
Yeah, neither do I.
I did ligaments in my ankle round one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that kept me out for half the season. That was the longest I'd had to be out for because everything else that I did got fixed up in the off season, like neck and spine and knees and toes and wrists.
Nothing like this bloke went through.
No, God, no. See, I
But
couldn't do that.
But because you just used to run in a straight line, right? Flat out, mow people
Well, there
down.
was a little bit of fancy footwork every now and then, but majority it was straight line stuff.
straight over the top.
Yeah, bump, offload, spin.
Yeah, like that.
Go myself. Yeah.
Who smashed you the best ever?
I think it was Tony Carroll got me once.
Yeah. He had a great technique.
He did. He got me once. And then Nigel Plum and Luke Lewis together.
Oh, really? Double act.
Yeah.
Were you after Gilly? Were you after Trevor?
Yeah. So
Because he was another one. He
didn't-
could fold people.
Yeah,
Trevor
yeah.
Gilmeister.
But the good front on technique.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
What about the one you smashed the best and you walked off and you still remember it?
Sam Burgess.
Oh, big Burgess.
Ask him about it.
Yeah?
I'll tell you. Yep,
Got him.
Just nailed him.
got him. Don't know why you look surprised. Kalis may have got him first,
I was
but I
just
was
thinking,
involved.
were you
I
the
was
second
involved.
one?
I was kind of.
You wrapped the ball up.
It went like Kalis hit him first, and I kind of looked like I could have been the main.
And you took all the credit.
Of course I did.
Brilliant.
That was probably but I wasn't much of a hitter. Like I was as a kid, but then when you get to senior football, it's more about just making sure you stop them and there's no offloads.
Yeah.
When you're younger, you can kind of come out of the line and do things a bit more erratic and
More about efficiency.
yeah. And when you play first grade, it's like I've got to make sure they don't offload, they don't do anything. There's no
Yeah.
quick play the balls, all that sort of stuff. So it kind of changes a bit.
So was a part of your ability to play for a long time, extended time, is you have got the ability to not get fatigued. Is that correct? They've done some tests.
oh
on
no,
you,
I still get fatigued.
but lactic acid wouldn't build up in your
Oh
body.
yeah,
is it?
I don't know exactly what it is. They did a test on myself and my brother where our body breaks down lactic acid a lot quicker than everyone else. So
What is there? Is there a word for that, or is there a
freak?
freak?
That's
That's it.
no, I don't know. But we had to do all these tests,
Yeah.
and we had a scientist in at the Eels, and they had us on the treadmill, and then they'd stick us with a needle and take some blood, and they'd flog us. Like I spewed during the whole process because it was a hard session. But they just said, yeah, your body somehow either doesn't produce lactic acid or breaks it down very
A
quickly.
lot of oxygen
Yeah.
running through your body, probably.
I don't know, but
Big
that,
settle-
but
big
that could have
settle
been coming
lungs.
from a dairy farm, like because we used to, walk to school every day.
Yep.
Had to ride our pushies everywhere, all that
Yep.
sort of stuff, and I enjoyed going for runs as a kid. There was all
Yeah.
So I had that room to do that. So that could have been that, and I was very determined too. So I didn't like to be beaten. As I've told this story before years ago, but we had this big hill in Robertson. And I just used to always want to get up it after school on the
Yeah.
pushy. No mountain bike.
No.
This is BMX.
Yes.
And the hill was like that. So you just, one day I'd get so far up, and then I'd want to get past that the next day, and the next day until I finally get to the top, and so that sort of stuff.
So that builds character, doesn't it? You want to achieve.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, well, I wanted to get to the top. I didn't want to have to get off and push it. I wanted to be able to get to the top.
Yeah.
So, and I was very strong-minded that way. And I think having my brother Ian, who we were very competitive with, especially when we got to first grade.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time we actually played with each other when we were both training at Parramatta. Even those sessions were a little bit of a test for both of us too, where neither of us wanted to be beaten. So that kind of helped a bit as well.
It's interesting. We were talking about before you came on about the great equine athletes, like the great mares like Via Sistina at the moment, and they run through the pain barrier. And athletically, it feels like some of the very best athletes have some genetic feature that actually helps them. So you're saying that lactic doesn't build up.
A lot of it's in your head as well, though.
Yeah.
Because it's only, you can do so many things if your brain lets you do it. It's your brain that's it's the brain that controls what you're going to do. So you can let your brain beat you, and it's happened to me several times, like where I've just gone, no, I can't keep doing this, and I've had to get some blokes to fill in for me on the field, as in cover for me a little bit, and then you quickly kind of shake that off. But it's all up in here, like the strong-minded ones who know that they're going to get a break soon, or you just got to push through that bit of pain. They're the ones. That's why not everyone plays professional sport, because they're the ones that can handle that situations a little bit better than others.
The pain doesn't last long, does it?
No.
Like, when you train, like, always had personal trainers.
It's not going to kill you.
No, it doesn't. And you know what, the endorphin hits that you get after it, like if you push yourself to a place where you haven't been, and you can get those, you get the tingles over your body, all your skin starts to tingle, and you think you're going to faint or have a spew. But when you come through that barrier, the endorphin rush you get after it, your body goes to a crazy place.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to train like you did when you were playing professionally, like, if that makes sense.
What are you looking at me for?
Yeah, I don't want to. Yeah. You know how?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because you try and mimic that sort of, but you can't. It's hard to do that. So, yeah. So I just stopped completely. Yeah.
That's fair.
Talk about stopping. When you got to your career, like that transition to going into what you're doing now, like the media and was that always something you thought about before you retired, or it was just organically just happened?
A little bit of both. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it while I was playing, like little bits and pieces here and there. And I thought, well, that's not a bad way to stay involved in rugby league without actually being a coach, because I can't coach. I've got no ideas how to coach. Like, I didn't ask.
The good players don't essentially make good.
But you know
coaches.
how you've seen. I played with players who would ask give the coach ideas. We should try this or try this, and I'm going, what was that? Just tell me what to do, and I'll go out and do it. That's how I did things. But
is that how you parent?
I don't even know if I parent.
Bonnie.
We're very relaxed parents.
Let's face it, parenting teenagers, you're just making it up as you go along. So anyway, sorry.
I get a text message, is there money on the card? That's
it.
And I go,
it's about the love you get. Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But no, where were we?
When you
Drinking
retired,
champagne,
like working out what to do.
It just kind of happened. It kind of happened.
But were you like because you're the jokester, were you always always like that growing up in the environment of the team?
A little bit, not too much, because I was, and this is what I was very serious. I took it very seriously.
Right.
Playing footy, I'd have a laugh every now and then, but I should have let myself relax a little bit more and enjoy it for what it was.
Yep.
But it was just so important that I succeeded and the team succeeded and the club succeeded, that everything was just so serious. I still had a laugh. Don't get me wrong, I still had a laugh and a joke, and I still enjoyed a good time. But I just wish I'd let myself enjoy the whole process a lot more than what I did.
Yeah.
I just was so nervous about failing.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Nervous about, not doing well, nervous about not winning games, and I didn't. So I preferred pre-season more than I preferred the season.
It's funny though, because like I know a fair few rugby league players, and I've been around them a bit, and some of them, but my best mates, like when they're not playing footy, they're very funny, and you know what I mean. But when they're actually doing it, they are the most serious cats you've ever met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when they're away from that, they're just different beasts. Because, you know what I mean?
Well, it'd be the same as you guys getting on a
once you're
horse.
locked in, you put the mouth guard in and you become a different person. That's what happens.
Yeah. But I was like that a little bit, probably too often.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that was the thing. So,
So
if I
what-
could go back and do it all again, I'd let myself enjoy it more as an experience,
Fair enough.
rather than like when you were a kid, when you played it as a kid, and you loved it. But when you become a
yeah.
first grader,
It's business.
it is business.
Yeah.
It's a job.
But is a part of that, and you get the piss taken out of you all the time for it on your work with Fox about not winning a comp. But do you reckon that would have twisted if you won a comp, or were you the type of person if you won one, because you played in a couple of grand finals, you got ripped off in one because the team you were playing was $2 million over the salary cap. The other one, you were the best team in the comp all year,
And we
didn't quite
shit
get it done.
ourselves. Yeah.
You were 30-0 down at half time or whatever, 24-0 down at half time. But you reckon you were the type of character that if I won one, that would have been a release, or
Oh, definitely.
you would have been like, oh no, I want to win another
Oh,
one.
I
like-
definitely want to win another one, but it would have been a load off the weight off the shoulders, because just when watching Mal Meninga cry winning a grand final,
Yeah.
that's what I want. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I think everyone wants to achieve. Is obviously the ultimate goal is to win a grand final. Like I've managed to win a World Cup and Origin series and all that sort of stuff, but the ultimate goal as a kid growing up was to play on grand final day and win it.
Yeah.
And having not ever got to do that, that's
pressure builds,
well,
right?
it still sucks.
I remember
really
seeing these
sucks.
guys in 2001, early days of working in the media, and I went out to their media session before the game.
Yeah.
And I also went to the Newcastle one. Now, the Newcastle one, before that game in 2001, it was like walking in to a Bucks party, like without the alcohol. Everyone was having a great time. It's just a few laughs. Walked into these guys, and Brian Smith was the coach at the time. Brian Smith was stressed like you wouldn't believe, didn't want the media there, knew he had to do it because the NRL said you had to do it, and the players were like really careful about what they said and all that. You could feel the tension.
But we were always very careful about what we said anyway, because we didn't want to give anyone any ammunition to use against us.
But you were the best team.
Yeah, I know, but we were all nervous. We were quite young. A lot of us are still quite young. And our first grand final, and it's a daunting experience. Like 09, when I went and played 09, I was still shitting myself then. Don't worry, but
It's a big week, isn't it? Like the build up is like you get through the preliminaries and you're there and you make it. It's a whole week is just
it's a massive week. It's exciting. Again, probably didn't let myself enjoy it as much as I should have.
Yeah.
But when you've got that, there's a thing that hangs over every Parramatta player's head. It's the '80s grand final, the '80s
86.
era, and it like people will say no, it doesn't affect you, but it does. You're like the club hasn't won since 1986, so there's that, and that pressure just keeps mounting and
Yes.
mounting and mounting, and the poor buggers the other year against Penrith, like that's all everyone was talking about. Like,
Well, they're
will this
hard
be
to-
the first grand final since '86? You know,
People don't understand how hard they are to win. Like, there's so many things have to go right that whole season, even from the prelim. So many factors have to go right. No injuries. You have to, you know what I mean?
Yep.
The draw and all that sort of stuff. And then you have to have all your men in the one place at the one day. You know what I mean? Just being favourites doesn't mean you should win the grand final.
Yeah,
because
everything has to be
everyone
done
has to
that.
be doing their job on that certain day.
Yeah,
And they all have
yeah.
to be fit. And it's a hard season, right? Not everyone can be fit and well on the last day.
no, and you can fall in a trap of concentrating too much on your opposition as
Yeah.
well, which might have been a bit of the case in 09, I think, because the way we got there in 09 was just we pretty much under Daniel Anderson. There was game plan, but it was just about support play and offloads, and we just
Too structured.
it just worked. No, it worked, and then all of a sudden
yeah.
grand final comes around, and we kind of
Had to
we're
be
planning
structured against
we're planning against Melbourne Storm.
Yeah.
Shit,
Mm.
this is Melbourne Storm. Like, we'd beaten the Dogs to get there. I think it might have been we beat the Dragons and I think it might also the Titans. I think it might have been. Can't quite remember, but that was all fine. We're all relaxed.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we got Melbourne,
Got to be serious
and it
now.
kind of everyone got a little bit tight. Yeah.
Bossy, I don't think I've asked you about this, like, because you ridden in big races, but then you get to Melbourne Cup Day, and on any of these three, did you go through what Hindy just described
no.
as, say, you go out there and you're actually shitting yourself
No,
because you're hoping it all works out?
Not really, but I had a moment, like you talk about, like I ran second a couple of years earlier on a mare called Champagne, talking about Champagne.
Delicious.
And but the thing is, I presented to win the race, and so at the 300 metre mark, I could actually picture myself with the cup. Like, I physically felt like I'm going to win my first Melbourne Cup. And then she started to fade on me, and she went wrong with about 70 metres to go, and I got beaten on the line. And
Jezebel.
Jezebel beat me. But, honey, I went back into the room, and I snapped my whip. I threw my helmet up against the wall, and I actually went into the bathrooms and was physically sick. Couldn't stop vomiting to the point, and I had nothing in me, so bile was coming up. I was so sick because I thought, how many opportunities am I going to... It dawned on me, this comes around once a year, how many more opportunities am I going to get?
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me, I probably just missed my only chance I'm ever going to have. And it took me about 3 weeks to get over that.
Yep.
Because I tossed and turned dreams. What could I have done different? What could I have changed? You know what I mean? So, because they're big moments. So that, that's...
Get a faster horse.
Well, it turned up. It turned up.
She lobbed
Yeah, she
from England.
lobbed.
Just
But
on
like,
that.
but through that period with her, we formed such a relationship and a bond. The trust was
But
immeasurable.
Yeah. And also, too, I'm sure there would have been other jockeys going, oh, God, here she is.
Oh, but like I'd walk in there walk in the room. I owned the room.
Yeah.
I owned the joint. Everyone walking say, look at Bossy. So basically I'm on,
Yeah.
because I knew that, not that I prejudged what was going to happen, but I almost got myself into a psychic. I knew what I had to do.
Did you intimidate other jockeys, with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd
Put 'em
walk
off
up,
their
you know what I'd
game?
do? I'd walk up and just shake hands, hug them.
Yeah.
How are you, mate? What's going on at home? And so I was really up. So they'd be like, oh, because I'd be commanding the room,
Yeah.
I'm not hugging every one of them, walk around. So they're like, oh, Jesus Christ. They knew I was on.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a bit of a mind game thing.
Interesting. Do you know that Jezebel one person who was happy about that, the opposite of you, Kerry Packer.
Kerry Packer.
He absolutely blew the betting ring
Yeah,
apart
they did.
by backing
Yeah.
the one that went past Bossy in the last 100
I think I
metres.
backed it as well.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You backed this year's
it have
Melbourne
number-
Cup. You backed the... What year
no,
are we?
no.
You backed last year's Melbourne Cup winner, didn't
Yeah,
you?
what about this? Is a good story.
Nathan?
I did.
Why?
Why? Because number 11.
You're joking.
No, always back the 11.
They're the only reason.
Horny.
I backed the 11 and the kids back there. I backed the kids' birthdays.
You do
as
that
well.
every year.
And I've got two born on the 11th.
Yeah?
One on the 11th of the first, one on the 11th of the second.
Wow.
So that's...
So 3 Hindmarsh winners.
there was only one Hindmarsh winner.
Where's the money, Nathan?
Yeah.
For the corporates, that horse was...
One of the worst.
No, he was the worst because
see, but
number
it's
11.
just-
Number 11 is a favourite number for a lot of people, and because he was a long shot in the race.
Yeah.
So collectively, when you have a lot of people having $20 bets, $50 bets
Yeah.
throughout Australia and Australasia, there's a lot of money going on number 11 because he's a long shot.
Yeah.
So he was 301 when he opened up.
I got him at 150.
150
Yeah.
on the day he started hundreds.
Yeah.
So collectively, there's a lot of money on that horse, because there's a lot of bets,
Yeah.
small bets, but collectively, there's a lot of money on him.
Yeah.
$100, 100 to 1 on the day. Boom.
What'd you buy yourself with the winnings?
Did you buy that ute?
No, I didn't buy it. No, I didn't buy it.
Did you buy a new Harley?
No.
I tell you, you love your bikes, hey?
I do like my bikes. I've just lost my Harley ambassadorship. Thanks for bringing that up. I was only with him for 12. I was only with him for 12, 13 years, but it's all right.
What happened there?
It went a new way.
You did or they did?
No, they didn't.
Oh, you can't win them all, Nathan.
Yeah, that's it, mate. I had a good time on the bikes. I like the bikes.
Did you have to give them back?
Hang on, mate. It's got to take a call from Harley.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate.
You want to sponsor the show?
Sitting here with him right
Yeah,
now, mate.
yeah.
Got some more ambassador money involved.
There was no money. No, it was just bikes. I was with them for years. And it was fun.
Yeah.
I just get on different bikes every now and then, go for a ride. So didn't ride much in winter. I'm a bit of a fair weather rider. Like I didn't like having a suit up. And
Do it when it's proper.
yeah, the weather's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an outdoor sport.
You love your toys, though, don't you? You could
Sorry.
jet skis and
boats.
keep it clean. Keep it clean, Nathan. Boy toys, boats, jet skis.
They're not boy toys, mate. I've got a family of boys at home.
Yes,
And I like to give them experiences.
Motorbikes.
but hang on. You grew up on a BMX in Robinson, and that's all you needed.
I had a four-wheeler
Oh, okay. That's
and a
pretty good.
Subaru Brumby.
June buggy.
I love a Subaru Brumby again.
Yeah?
There's one down the road for me for sale for $7.5 grand. Thinking about getting it.
What year?
Could be a Knight's Choice winnings.
What year is it?
Can I park it at your joint?
You wouldn't get there. It's too far away.
No, I got the boat because, but that's
It's a wake boat.
It's a wake boat. Yeah, so we get down the river. Not too often, but taught the kids how to wakeboard and ski and all that sort of stuff. But that was from my wife.
Yeah.
She grew up she's a Victorian. She grew up on Lake Eildon on houseboats, and that was her thing. So I'm just waiting for another thing that she wants and I like at the same time. So, yeah.
You'll get there
So
eventually.
I can buy something else.
You'll get there eventually.
Bigger shed. I need a bigger shed.
I do need a shed. I don't have a shed.
Well, shout out for her, like sponsors, like.
Any shed sponsors, James?
Well, we'll have to find
Is
one.
it Best Sheds or something like that? Is that a shed? Yeah.
When you get a shed, we can put some air conditioning systems in there so you can control the temperature in there. That's the main thing.
That'll be good.
That would be good.
I might need them down the farm, air touch, because
you do.
all the split systems have shit themselves down there.
Well, you're in the right. You're sitting in the
I'll
right
put you
chair
in contact
right
with
now,
the
mate.
right people.
Oh, good.
Post footy, you've got it heavily into media and you found your niche. I think you don't mind the proper footy analysis occasionally, but then you've got the flip side of you and your mate Fletch.
Right.
We've got producer James, who used to work with you at Fox here. He's putting this whole operation together. Give him a shout out.
What does a 30 mean?
You've been going 30 minutes.
We're going 30 minutes. Yeah.
Time flies when you're
Does
having fun.
What's more enjoyable for you, or the enjoyable part is that you can do a bit of both?
I think that they're a bit of both. Yes. Yeah, because you put me on a Super Saturday, I'll struggle.
With a tie on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember those
Yeah.
days.
But no, it's good to have that good mix. So we don't, and the shows we're on, obviously Matty John's shows, they're not. It's supposed to be entertaining.
Yeah.
It's supposed to take people away from their issues at home, their day-to-day stuff that's probably getting them
Give
down
them a laugh.
bit,
You're supposed to make
bit of
people
fun.
laugh.
Yes.
That's the
yeah. So
And you've done that pretty successfully.
yeah, we're going all right. Yeah, but it's good to also talk a bit of serious footy as well when we have to. Like, and I'll sit at home watching a game of footy, and I'll be glued to the TV, and then I'll walk away after, when the game's done. I don't even know who's played. That's what I'm like.
Okay.
Not that I'm punchy. I'm not. I'm not punchy.
You with it?
It's just I just watch it differently. I'd love to watch it as a fan. I'd love to be a fan
So
for once
where do
because
you think-
I'm more. It's still a job.
Yeah.
And I'd love to if my team lost, that I'd be cranky for like 4 days after.
It's
And
a good feeling.
Yeah, so you'd know with your soccer.
Oh, no,
Who's your
Manly.
soccer team?
My soccer team's Newcastle United, but Manly. Watching Manly play footy,
yeah.
I get really agitated
Yeah,
if things don't go
And I'd
well.
love to be those guys on at Brookie there on the hill on the cans, but you've got your mates together and you've gone out there to watch the footy on the hill. That'd be fun.
But you just can't do it because you can't
Oh,
disassociate yourself.
I just if I go to a game live, I don't stand up out of my seat. I just sit. I don't cheer. I don't clap. I don't do anything.
Wow.
You're a Bronx fan.
I just watch. It's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
What do you think of the state of the game at the moment? Like, where do you think it sits? Like,
Oh, like every generation
It-
before, we think it's softer, all that sort of stuff, all that. But look, I understand why they're doing all these things. There's a lot of rules going on at the moment. There's a lot of stuff around, obviously, head injuries and head knocks and brain injuries. So I understand why they've had that big crackdown on headshots.
Yeah.
And they're putting in. But look, if the ref doesn't pick it up first, let's not go back 5, 6, 7 tackles or 2 sets to find out
Let
what's
him do
going
his
on.
job.
Yeah, but it's still a great game. And because this is what my kids have grown up on, they don't see it any different.
yeah.
But it's only the fact that I played when it was a little bit different,
Yep.
and the generation before me was a bit different to how I played. So it's just going to keep
Evolution
going.
of sport.
Yeah. So look, I still like it. I think it's been a great season so far. Melbourne Storm look like to be clear favourites at the moment, but you never know. Never know.
What about the meat market? It seems like player recruitment and movement has become. So as we sit here right now, we've had this week with Lockie Galvin, the situation with the West Tigers. Who knows where that's going to end? Earlier this year, we had Daly Cherry Evans making his mind up about Manly, and that was a circus as well. How does that make you feel,
I
all
think
of that?
it's been more of a circus because of who they are. You know, it's Lockie Galvin, the next superstar. You got DCE, who's Manly through and through. You'd think, and he's made a big decision not to be there, and everyone wants to know why he doesn't want to be at Manly. So it's all good talking points there, but none of them have done anything wrong.
Well, you can't
same
begrudge someone.
as Dylan Brown. Like he signed
Dylan
after
Brown,
round one, you know, to go to Newcastle with the whole season in front of him. But that's always kind of happened. Players come and go all the time. It's just that they're big names or they're on big deals, and they generate a little bit more interest than what someone else might. So that's it. But
Well, you can't begrudge someone looking after their future. If they get a big offer from another club, You know, they're setting,
Exactly,
they're setting
like-
themselves up maybe for generational wealth going forward. So
Well, you don't,
never-
and also too, you don't know how long you're going to last for.
That's the
You
thing.
don't know. It could all end next week for
Yep.
some players. You don't know. So
take it when you get it.
you make hay while the sun shines.
If you spend, you know, your junior footy and your whole life getting to a point where you can actually command certain contracts or whatever it is, go for it.
Yeah.
Because you've worked 20 years since you were a junior to get to this point and say, okay, I'm good enough now, so clubs want me.
Yeah.
Don't begrudge me because I worked my ass off to get to this point.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I,
that's
that's what I,
exactly
you know.
right.
So
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
sit there and tall poppy bullshit and say, oh, he's doing it for the money. He got there. He deserves to do it for the money.
Of course, he's doing it for the money.
Yeah.
I would have done it for the money.
Yeah, for
Did
sure.
you
I
ever
would
get
do
a
it too.
tap on the shoulder from another club and you were nearly going to leave Para? Or
No, I got a tap on the shoulder from your own club. So
Yes, that's it.
can you move on?
you get out of the way?
No, I think the closest I went to was Super League.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the back end of my career, I think it might have been 09.
Oh, I thought you meant at the start of your career.
No.
when you came here.
I was.
You just missed that.
I didn't want to go anywhere. I don't like change. I
Yeah.
don't like change. So I didn't even give myself the opportunity to go anywhere else or look at anything else.
So not
I just-
once throughout your career.
No.
15 years at Para.
No, there was a little hint from a little nibble from Union, but that was just
Union?
That was nothing. You know, when there was a big
When Union was going
yeah,
good.
yeah. When Union was good,
You wear Aaron Williams and everything like that. You would have fit in perfectly.
I wear Aaron Williams now.
Yeah.
See the hole in the bottom of those?
Yeah.
That's from riding a Harley. Yep.
Not from riding a horse.
Because I got into
Just to mention Harley one more
yeah.
time.
I don't know why they don't sponsor me anymore.
Oh, you're talking about an ex-girlfriend.
She's a great
No,
boss.
it's because I got into Yellowstone.
Ooh, yeah, it's a good show.
So I never
Kevin
thought
Costner.
I'd own a pair of RMs until I got into Yellowstone.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Mate, I did Pony Club for 2 years. I won lead gelding at Robbo's show
But like I'm talking
on a
recent-
Friday afternoon.
Recently, have you done it?
No, grass thieves we call them.
Yeah.
I call them grass thieves. My neighbour across the road's got some nags. I was thinking about getting my kids into them, but no, I grew up with horses. I can ride a horse. They're a bit skittish for me. My brother's mad into horses. He had quarter horses and these other things.
Yeah.
I had a fat little pony.
As opposed to a
Never-
My Little Pony, a fat little pony.
I had one of those as well.
Yeah,
My
I bet
little
you
pony.
did. Yeah, okay.
Had rainbow hair.
Is that go there?
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well, it did. Might have been my sister's. But no, we got into horses. Well, my brother got into. Remember Man from Snowy River?
Yes.
Yeah, and he
Oh,
does
going
that
down the
scene.
hill.
Yeah, going down. Oh, my brother
what a
was such
scene
a
that was.
wanker. he used to mimic that. We had a gully on the farm, and it was like when Man from Snowy River was
Yeah, it
like
was
this
like
off
that.
a cliff. So our gully was like that. My brother would get on his horse. I'd follow him on my motorbike. And he'd go down and take his hat off and go down and lean right back. Go, what are you doing, you
But it's
dickhead?
like that, was it?
And I just go, "Mee."
What was that ex-name? Tom, what was his name?
Tom Burlinson.
Tom Burlinson, yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Young Tom
But
Burlinson,
no,
yeah.
did Pony Club. I did Pony Club. This is one for you. Because my brother got horses. My brother got whatever he wanted, pretty much, whatever he asked for. My sister, this is...
Is
and
that
this is
something you carried for the
Not at
your
all,
whole
not at all.
life? No.
And my sister got a trip to New Zealand. This is when we were younger, to go see her cousins. My other sister, she got a horse because all her friends had horses. So we're in Robertson, small town. You know when you ride horses on the
Yeah.
roads and no one cares. And so we're in a small town. She got a pony, and then I got a BMX. But then my sister refused to ride a horse. So we had this horse sitting there, a little pony,
Doing nothing.
So then I took up Pony Club because there was a few
Yeah. Good looking.
opposite sex.
Yes, the
yeah,
girls.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
I
took,
knew it was
I took up Pony Club for 2 years.
Any luck?
Didn't help me, no. No.
It's a shame.
And the lead gelding thing too, that threw me right out of contention because in the lead gelding at Robbo's show,
Yeah.
I had to wear jodhpurs.
Oh, yeah.
And they were brown jodhpurs
all
with
tight.
tight things.
Still got him?
It didn't help. It didn't help. No, I don't have it. No,
They wouldn't fit around his ankles now.
Yeah, the ankles. Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised that you're not a horse rider now.
No, I can ride a horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I have to, but I don't need to. 'Cause that's why I invented motorbikes and cars and stuff like that.
Yeah, I used to do that too. I loved motorbike. I wanted to be a crusty demon. Like
same.
I actually wanted to be a motocross rider
So did-
because
yeah.
we had horses. Obviously, I rode every day, but if I wasn't on my horse, I was on me YZ ripping around,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all the boys from all the other farms around, we'd all get together and just go flat out.
See, everyone around us all had motorbikes. I didn't have. I had a Z50.
Oh,
the old
yeah.
Z50, Honda Z50s that are worth the bomb
Yeah.
these days. I didn't get my first proper motorbike till I was 16, like proper one, because I said to my mum, look, I got a scholarship to go to Fairfield Patrician Brothers. I said, I'll go to Fairfield Pats if I get a motorbike. Yeah. I lasted 3 weeks
Did you
at
get the level
Fairfield.
2 straight?
No, I got a Husqvarna CR250.
Oh, did you?
It was.
Oh, wow,
And it
big
went
bike.
It went like a shower of shit. I was 16. It was my first bike.
Mate, that's a power machine.
Yeah, it was. And then,
Holy-
so I'd go away during the week, come home on the weekends, but I didn't know that during that week my old man would have put up an electric fence or a new barbed wire fence. I've come screaming down this paddock.
You can't see the wire.
No, new 3-strand.
Yeah.
This was thank God it was only electric.
Yeah.
3-strand electric fence. I've just had to ditch the bike. Oh, because we had this other bloke who lived down the road who used to, because our property was backed onto all these houses.
Yeah.
So everyone was riding motorbikes through the paddocks. Dad had one rule: you ride on the paddocks, you don't scare the cows, and you shut the gates behind you. Always shut the gates. But Graham Willard, his name was, a lot older than me. He went through a barbed wire fence, tore his top lip, big tear out of his top lip,
Eesh.
big scar there.
So
It was pretty tough.
now that you're a parent of kids, are you
I think
like
they're kids.
Don't- well, that's
Parent
for you to
parts.
answer. But do you parent them as if like you were growing up, or are you like, oh, try not to do that because I don't want you to get hurt with?
Oh,
whatever
no,
they're-"
God, no. No.
4 boys, yeah?
4 boys. No, I
Jeez.
don't. They were parented how I was parented. You
Just a
get up, you
free-for-all.
get going again. Yeah, you hurt yourself, I
Yeah.
don't care. I'm not listening to you. If it's broken, then I'll start listening. But that's only after a week. My kids have had a few broken bones. And the school actually rang me after a week. I think you should get his hand checked out.
Yeah. It's gone blue. And
Yeah, it was Archie, my eldest, he broke his hand. I said, mate, you'll be right. Kept going for a week. The school actually rang me, said, mate, come and get your hand.
Have docs been around to your house?
Not yet, not yet. And the other one, Rowdy, had to pick him up from high school. He hit his thumb. I said, mate, toughen up, you'll be right. Yeah, broke his growth plate or something and wrecked it. So,
Oh, cool.
because I didn't get it x-rayed.
Oh, now he can't play
But
PlayStation.
like,
Yes,
he's all right.
yeah. But
They heal,
they're
they're
fine.
young.
I'm not going to go run off and get everything looked at
No.
if it's. So they were brought up like me. But as long as they're pleas and thank yous and their manners, that's my big ones.
Country values,
Yeah.
Nathan.
Yeah.
Shake hands, solid shake hand, look them in the
yes,
eye, things like
yep,
that.
Yep, but manners. Yep. I don't care. You can be an absolute asshole at home. When we go out somewhere or we've got other people around, you are
That's
polite. You go to someone else's house, just please and thank you.
Yeah.
Your better half, Bonnie, she is part of a really successful business, home renovations and everything like that. Who, with your TV work, who then gets the first say of, I've got something on, I need to be here, you give up what you're doing?
It's kind of works. We kind of works well. Like I'm a bit of a stay-home dad during the days.
Yep.
So fortunate enough for me, I can. I work Thursday and Sunday nights and bits and pieces. I can always move things around if I have to do some stuff. And that's the same with Fletch because he's got a heavy work schedule. So we always try and work stuff around for Fox to fit it in. But like I'll take the kids to school. I'll usually pick them up, and so Bonnie can do all the stuff she needs to do. And yeah, so it's a good relationship there where we both give and take as much as we need to.
I got to ask one on Fletch.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it like working with a person who is mentally probably still 8?
Yeah, people think that, but he's probably one of the most switched on men I know. Like he is quite business savvy.
Yep.
He's smart.
So he's your manager.
He knows
Well,
his
no,
role.
I manage him. Yeah. So it's kind of, he looks after me that way. He's kept me in a job for quite some time, Fletch.
Talking about your job though, you must pinch yourself at the moment, like you've done some amazing stuff.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean. And you sit there and go, how surreal is this? Like I'm on the Grand Canyon, or I'm doing a skit with me great mate, and I'm getting paid to do this.
Well, I wouldn't say great, mate.
Well-
but
well-
I've got to do some cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
I pretty much learnt to snowboard with Fletch. We've been in New Zealand. He taught me how to snowboard, that sort of stuff. South Africa, got to dart a rhinoceros and notch its ear and all that sort of stuff, and put a chip in its horn.
You would have enjoyed that.
I loved that. That was pretty cool. Yeah,
Fletch broke the
he broke the
the
drill bit
the
off.
drill
in
bit
its,
off in
its
the-
horn. Yeah, because it's what is it, 100,000 a kilo
Yeah.
for a bit of the horn. So
yeah.
the scariest bit was because the poachers now, they follow that sort of stuff because that's their jobs. The easy job's done. The rhinos on the ground, and they come in and shoot everyone and just take the horn. So we had blokes with guns all around us,
Oh, terrific.
keeping an eye on things. Yeah.
Who nearly killed who off that pillow and Darling Harbour that
Well-
day?
Oh,
Remember that?
yes.
Yeah.
You landed on him.
That was you on Hine? You
No,
on
Fletch
Fletch?
landed right through there. I thought I broke my bloody leg, but he broke some ribs and punctured a lung, which I thought was quite humorous.
So boy.
But it was the scariest thing. Because there was, righto guys, get up in a cherry
Yeah.
picker, and there was no one up there with us to tell us what to do.
That would have been a 10-metre drop.
It was a long way up, and they
more
said,
than
right now stand on the rail inside the cherry picker, on the rail, that's
Yeah.
surrounded by. Get up on that, and we looked down and said, guys, can we move the cherry picker like over the water? It's still over the footpath. and then they said, righto, on 3 jump, and we've gone 1, 2, 3, and then jump.
Yeah.
And I think I've gone 1, 2, 3, and jumped on 3. So we've had our arms linked.
Yeah.
So I've gone first, and numbnuts is held onto the bar. So I pulled him off the cherry picker. That's why
You've all got
That's
skills.
why he's come down later on me and landed right in there. Yeah. And then he was in hospital. That was the first show any of us had missed. So he was in hospital with a punctured lung. But we still crossed to him.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
He wasn't
Show
gonna
must
miss
go
out.
on.
Yeah, it has to. Yeah. But no, it's been great. Hopefully it continues for a long time to
Yeah.
come.
What is in the immediate future for yourself?
Don't know.
Just keep taking the
Just
piss out of
keep- yeah,
yourself.
just keep going.
Making
Yeah,
people
yeah.
laugh.
Yep. No, nothing's going to change. Hopefully we can.
Nothing scripted, right? You just
No, well,
sometimes
that's the better. As long as we can try and swing it back to a little bit more the risque stuff, because it goes like this. So sometimes you've got to be very careful of what you say and all that sort of, like everyone does, I suppose, these days. But we'd love to just twist it a little bit more back to the Aussie sort of
a bit
way.
of chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
Because people love that.
Take the piss a little bit more.
I think people are over all the bullshit woke stuff. So people just want to sit there and just
I think
good
it'll-
comedy.
I
you
think
know?
I'll do a full circle. Yeah,
Yeah, good comedy. I want to laugh. Someone taking the piss out of themselves and not taking life too seriously, as you do.
Yeah.
You know, it's good fun.
Well, Hindy, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
Cheers.
mate.
Have you got any champagne left?
Yeah. Got a
Mate.
bit of a glow up already. I haven't had breakfast this morning.
Cheers, mate. What an absolute
Cheers.
treat, mate. Cheers.
That is breakfast. It's like you're living in the eastern suburbs. That's breakfast, champagne breakfast. So, yeah. Well done, Hindy. You
boys.
finally made it
Bye,
in life.
wankers.
Congrats. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks for having me, guys. Is that it?
Yeah.
No, another hour.
Do we clap now?
This is only the.
And do we?
That's it.
That's
Cheers.
it. Any more questions?
No,
Have
mate.
you got any questions
What's your
for us?
favourite horse? Not a racehorse, like breed of horse.
Oh, quarter horse.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Stock horse, quarter horse.
Hey.
yeah.
Because since I retired, I started doing a bit of cutting and camp drafting.
That's what my sister-in-law does.
And
She does
mate,
the cutting.
I admire those animals. They're proper,
'Cause a good
proper
one,
athletes.
you just have to sit on them, don't you?
Well, no,
as long as you just
you've
sit
got
on
to give
it,
them
it
commands,
does
but
its
yeah,
thing.
they're like cattle dogs. Like they're so in tune to the beast in front of them.
Yeah.
They're just and so basically you have to do commands, but
The good ones you just sit
just
on.
sit there and just
Yeah.
let them. Don't get in their way. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt what they're doing, because if you give them a wrong signal, their brain comes back to you, not on the beast. So you just have to basically just sit there and just
Yeah. So the good ones you sit on.
yeah.
You done?
Any more questions? What shoe size are you? It's quite a big shoe.
It's quite a big shoe. You know what they say?
Big shoes.
Right to
Big
ride,
sock.
like to ride
Big-
Harley
Big
Davidson.
socks. I said socks.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you,
Good
Glenn.
on you, mate. What a
Cheers. There
boy.
we go.
Well, Bossy, that did disappoint. Did it?
I need to take a breath.
What about the VO2 max and the physical nature of that specimen that just sat with
There's
us?
some things that great athletes all possess. They're a bit weird. Like their makeup is a bit weird. Well, not
Different.
Well, he's different in every
Unique.
other. Well, he's unique in every aspect. But well, he comes in like a. You know, it reminds you of like back in the day, you watched the cartoon, the Tasmanian Devil.
Yeah.
Wow, he comes
Yeah.
in and there's destruction, and then he just leaves.
Yeah.
That's Hiney.
Well, I bet you he won't be like that the day after he's had $140 worth of Easter eggs that he bought the other day. So anyway,
Right.
we'll leave that right there. IP events. Let's give these guys a plug. Of course, there was a great event at the Golden Slipper this
Yes.
year. There's going to be more great events this year. IPevents.com.au is your place to go and check these guys out for to go and do a great event in comfort, in style. This is the place to go, Bossy.
Yeah, the next big one will be the Winter Carnival, the Doomben 10,000. It's huge. It's always a big one. It's actually one of the funnest ones I've ever been to, and I'm looking forward to doing that this year.
Yeah, so check it out, ipevents.com.au. Let's rip straight into Bossy's best. So, Bossy, it's not part of the championships, the final day at Randwick, but it's still a damn good race day. 2 Group 1s to stand out. A lot of other promising horses, which are probably going to head to Brisbane as well to keep an eye on for the Winter Carnival up there.
That's another point that you make very well, Adam. You'll see there's a few horses first up in good races, and their targets will be towards Brisbane, which is another great carnival in itself. But the All-Age Stakes is a very time-honoured race, and so is the Champagne. You know, it's a great race it's the third leg of the Triple Crown for the 2-year-olds. So they're good races in themselves. So really interesting racing.
Champagne Stakes. We'll do that one first. We'll leave the all-age for second.
Yes.
But, it's weird. The Champagne, sometimes you have a lot of horses still hanging on after the slipper. Not the case this year. Within the law, obviously had a disaster in the slipper. It's there. But looking around it, it's really hard to line all the converging form up. Have you been able to make sense of it?
So the Champagne Stakes is a real target race now. To win the Triple Crown is near impossible. The last one to win it was Gelding, Gay Wardhouse,
Dance Hero,
right?
Yep.
So it's a hard race. So it's become a target race. So it's become a good race in itself. So this year, State Visit is knocking on the door to win a race. Like, he's been so consistent. He ran a great race, ran second in the sires. So the sires form will be the best form going into this race. So I've got State Visit. There was one there called Buffalo, ran third. Geez,
Flew home.
It flew home. And I found one.
Here we go.
Yes.
Wider?
Yeah, a wide one.
How wide?
It ran 7th
Yeah.
in the size. Fundamentalist, trained by Hawks, the Hawks trio.
Yep.
If it doesn't run a mile, I will give up punting for the rest of my life. It'll love the mile. It was just running through the line. When they were all hitting the line, it was the one that was running to him really quickly. So he's only having his 3rd start in a race. He'll run super.
The other Group 1,
Yep.
the All-Age Stakes, over 1,400 metres and a pretty good field assembled.
Oh, this is a very hot race. So TJ Smith form, it's going to be very good. Briasa, he's just a proper horse, this bloke. People might be surprised that he's gone here after winning the TJ, but it's a Group 1 race over 1,400 metres. Why not? It's worth big money. So Briasa, Jimmy Starr, my God, he's knocking on the door to win a Group 1. His run in the William Reid was outstanding on a biased track, and then again in the TJ, coming from near last, ripping through the line. He's drawn barrier 6. Hopefully, he's a horse that has to be ridden a little bit cold, but hopefully he can be in touch with Briasa. And if he can be, he might be the one that runs over the top. Broadsiding, ripping horse, drawn low. I can see him running a really good 3rd in this. And there's another one, Benedetta, who was another one who ran super in the William Reid coming from back in the field on a biased track. It'll run good. They're the top 4.
But Briasa on top of those?
Well, he's just, listen, you don't ignore the obvious. He's the best sprinter in Australia at the moment, and he's had a pretty good prep. He'll just continue on his ways.
Look forward to finding about it all on Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
Bossy, good luck on the last day of the carnival.
Yep.
Loved the whole season, once again, of Who's the Boss. And with a bit of luck, we'll be back for season 4.
Yeah, we found a few winners, we found a few losers, but that's the punt, isn't it? But it's been an amazing carnival. The Sydney Autumn has turned it on. The weather was good, the tracks raced well, the good horses stood up, and the great jockeys all stood up.
Good stuff. And you stood up as well. Outstanding. Glenn Boss on Who's the Boss, giving us all the insights and everything. Hope you've enjoyed this series of Who's the Boss. Don't forget to check us out and tell your friends about it at Who's the Boss Pod on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. You can check us all out. Have a great weekend. Have a great Easter. If you like our content, hit the like button somewhere down here.
And if you want to subscribe, right here.